There's one of me when, in the first hat I bought, I think, out in Wyoming. That's a picture of me when I was on the first War Veterans Commission. I was the first woman. I was in charge, always seemed like, the group I was with. And they turned their lights on us to see. And we fired and knocked the lights out. And we felt something. But before that, see, we were by our bunk. And it rang the second time. We were standing. And the girl from New York that had the big nose, we always thought of hers. Some movie star used to have a big nose. And she was sitting on the bottom bunk, and I called her by name, and I said, "Get up, stand up, stand up." And she started screaming and crying and screaming. And I thought, oh, she's losing it. So I walked over to her and squatted down, and I said, "What's the matter?" And she just shook her head and screamed. And I said, "You got to get up. We're going to, if they sound a third time, we got to get up to the lifeboat." And she just didn't do anything but scream and cry. So I hauled off and slapped her one way and took my hand and slapped her back the other way, or the other hand, I don't remember. I said I pulled a patent. We had a time staying awake between 2 and 4 o'clock because messages weren't coming through much. And someone was always thinking of something to do, pranking. One night, you know how we used to fold up little pieces of paper and have to bite them to make them small? Take a rubber band and shoot them at somebody and hit them on try to hit them round on the neck. It'd sting. And they were just flying all in there, you know. And that warrant officer in charge, he knew what we were doing. He was a good Joe. We all liked him. But then after about an hour and a half of that, he said, he acted like he just noticed it. He said, "Hey, what's going on here? It looks like it snowed." He said, "Don't you know that one of the generals is apt to come through? Even Eisenhower might come through. So you all that put it on the floor, start picking it up." And then I don't know why he picked on me. He said, "Ward, you get a broom. Cook, you get the dustpan. And what they don't pick up, you two sweep up. Make sure you don't leave anything on that floor." Well, I'd swept it all up good and had it piled close to the door. And Cookie was still looking for the dustpan. And I was helping her look. It wasn't in the closet, it wasn't anywhere. And I was about to tell the officer, and she said, "Irene, wait a minute here." And there was a knot hole in the floor. And it was all wood. And so she was poking it down in that knot hole. And pretty soon she had it all gone. Well, we just got in our seats and just seated good when someone opened the door, and it was a British captain. And he didn't walk in, he stomped in. And you could tell he was really upset. He was waving one hand. He walked up to the desk of our officer. And he said, "Can I help you, sir?" He says, "I have a complaint. My men were on break, and they had their tea and crumpets on the table and was ready. And all of a sudden, all this little hard pieces of paper and dust just covered the table." I don't think it covered it, but he said it did.